We've got some really difficult and tragic news to cover today from the world of sports. We're going to be talking about the sudden passing of former NFL wide receiver Rondale Moore. So this was the headline that just absolutely shocked the sports world this past weekend. NFL wide receiver Rondale Moore was found dead at only 25 years old. To really understand what happened, let's get into the details that have been released so far.
Okay, so first, let's just go over the official announcement and the details that have actually been made public.
According to officials, Rondale Moore was found at his home in New Albany, Indiana, on Saturday. Police reports say he was discovered in the garage. The cause of death is being reported as a suspected self-inflicted gunshot wound. The Floyd County coroner has confirmed his passing, and there is an official investigation currently underway.
But to really get a sense of the weight of this loss, we need to look back at his journey. It's a story of just incredible talent that took him all the way to the top. And it all started with a truly spectacular college career. Playing for Purdue University, Rondale Moore was an absolute force, a dynamic player whose performance really laid the foundation for his dream of playing in the NFL.
And you know, that dream? It became a reality in 2021. He was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. He spent 3 seasons out there in the desert before getting traded to the Atlanta Falcons in 2024. And most recently, just in March of 2025, he'd signed with the Minnesota Vikings. He was starting a whole new chapter in his career.
But his path in the NFL, well, it wasn't an easy one. Right alongside all the highlights, his career was really marked by some significant and repeated challenges. And this right here really gets to the heart of his professional story. On one hand, you've got this immense promise. A player known for being so resilient and dedicated, with what looked like a really bright future ahead of him. But on the other hand, you have the tough reality of a career that was just constantly being sidelined by injuries. This pattern became just painfully clear in his final years. After that trade to the Falcons in 2024, his season was cut short by a major injury. Then, just as he was getting a fresh start in Minnesota the very next year, another season-ending injury, this time in the preseason. It was just this relentless cycle of adversity. As you can imagine, the news of his passing just sent an absolute shock wave through the NFL community. It led to this immediate outpouring of grief and remembrance from the teams, from the coaches, and all the players who knew him best.
His most recent coach, Kevin O'Connell from the Vikings, he really spoke to his character, remembering him as a, quote, humble, soft-spoken, and respectful young man. And he specifically highlighted Moore's resilience, acknowledging that repeated adversity he faced all throughout his career.
The Arizona Cardinals, the team where he spent the first 3 years of his pro career, they released a statement saying they were, quote, devastated and heartbroken, and they extended their deepest condolences to his family and everyone who knew him. And his former college coach at Purdue, Jeff Brom, he remembered the spirit that Rondale brought to the game, calling him a complete joy to coach and the ultimate competitor. He talked about his work ethic and how his teammates just loved his smile and that competitive fire he had.
So as everyone tries to process this awful news, the focus really shifts to how Rondale Moore will be remembered, both on and off the field.
And what you see again and again in all of these tributes is that people are remembering something that goes way beyond his athletic talent. They're remembering his incredible work ethic, the competitive spirit, and most of all, the kind of person he was, someone who was just so deeply respected and loved. And it leaves us with a really tough question, doesn't it? In the world of pro sports, which so often focuses on just performance and potential, how do we remember an athlete like Rondale Moore? His story is such a complex mix of both that immense promise and this profound, very human struggle. And we have to end on a very, very important note. This story does discuss suicide. If you or anyone you know is struggling or in crisis, please know that there is help available. You can contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by either calling or texting 988. You can also call 1-800-273-8255. Please just reach out. You are not alone.